All right. Happy New Year. It's the 2nd of February. I haven't had a whole lot of time to do a video, but I am now. And I wanted to play a little bit and share with you guys what I got going on here. I got something really exciting to show everybody. Now, it's going to be really exciting kind of two different ways. If you're really nerdy and techie and you have supercomputers, this probably won't be quite so cool to you. But for those folks that have not crossed into the threshold of real new technologies and having fun with it, this is for you. This is something that I get a kick out of. Okay, here we go. Let's just say you have a TV that's a few years old in your living room, right? You know they have these things called smart TVs now. This is how you can make a smart TV. This little box right here. This is an Android mini PC. This is kind of the newest, latest, greatest one on the market. I've got this recently and been able to play with it for a week or two, and I'll show you what I've come up with. I'm going to try to do as fair a review as I possibly can of this particular one. Again, this is an Android mini PC. So for those of you that may have smartphones or tablets and you're familiar with an Android operating system, this would be the same operating system, but you would have it in your living room, on your TV, or in your bedroom or your kitchen, where you might not want a big tower hooked up, but yet still want to be able to watch your cooking shows on the internet while you're cooking. So the case of this thing pops off relatively easy. I'm going to set him off out of the way for a reason here. I want to show you a couple of things while we're inside this case. If you are mildly technically savvy and you would like to do an upgrade on the OS or firmware, something like that, you will have to get into this board to do that. There's little micro switches on here that you may or may not have to hit while doing that. There are a couple other things that I would like to address real quick that I've determined. I like this particular PC because of the fact it had an audio output jack. A lot of them do not. They only have a single HDMI out, and that's where you get the audio. But if you want to hook this thing up to a stereo receiver or something, and you want to use a heavy-duty large plug, not a little headphone piece of crap, it won't quite fit down in the case all the way. So in order to remove the card from this box, there is a screw here and one here, and they are teeny tiny. You're going to need a precision set to do that, but once you take the screws out, the card will pop directly out of the case, and we're just going to set this out of the way for a minute. What I did was, I apologize. What I did was took a little unibit, opened up this hole, so now when I insert the headphone plug, it goes in all the way and it'll seat all the way against the card. Okay, so there's that. We'll get that out of the way. We don't need to talk about that anymore. This, on the other hand, we do want to talk about. This is the new Rockchip RK3188. This particular processor is a 1.6 gigahertz quad core, so relatively decent little workhorse in such a small chassis. The board does have built-in Wi-Fi. This is your Wi-Fi antenna here, going across the board this way. It does have built-in Bluetooth, both of which work fantastic. It is 2 gig of RAM on board and also has 8 gig of flash memory. It will support a micro SD card up to 64, so considerable amount of storage for such a small device as well. Again, single HDMI output. The video on this does not yet support 1080, but it does a beautiful 1280 by 720 that looks great on up to a 26-inch monitor. Single micro USB for the power supply. It only comes equipped with a 2 amp power supply, so if you have any USB devices that require more than 2 amps, make sure you use a powered USB hub and not just a single USB output. So all in all, being as fair as possible, if someone wanted to just make a plug and play machine and all they're using is a single new HDMI TV, plug it in, you've got a smart TV, you're rocking and rolling. Now, in order to control this thing, you'll need a mouse or a keyboard, something like that. What I've opted to do with this unit is this. This is the Hospel H7. It's very small. One hand, you can hold it about the size of a fat remote, but the buttons are just far enough apart, and you can see they do respond. They make a nice clicky sound. like that. And I have big fat thumbs, and I can do this without clicking the buttons or getting, fat fingered about it. It does have an on-off switch at the top here, and a port for charging via USB. The battery itself is a lithium-ion, and we'll try to get this the right way where y'all can see it. Oh, sorry, bouncing, bumped the gimbal. So lithium-ion battery. It is a replaceable battery if need be. You know the rules. Just like cell phone, keep it charged proper. Battery maintenance is everything. All in all, these are two fantastic devices that I've really enjoyed playing with. This unit is as advertised. You are going to have a problem if you decide to use this as an internet device for phone conversations or video, that kind of deal. There are very few, because of it's a new piece, there's very few cameras on the market that are supported. There are a handful of applications that you can download at the Play Store from Google, and that will make it possible to use those particular webcams with this unit. Like I said, at this time there's not an updated firmware for this thing that makes it possible to do that. Most of the cameras that it will use are Logitech. So if you have a Logitech camera, I believe like the C270 is probably the most popular one used with this. You shouldn't have any problems. You'll just have to download an app at the Play Store and make it happen that way. But Rockchip 3188 1.6 gigahertz quad core with 2 gig of onboard RAM, 8 gig of flash memory, supports up to a 64 gig micro SD card, 1280 by 720 HDMI, single USB 2 amp output, audio output, and Hospel keyboard. Will set you back about $110 after all said and done. $120 depending on where you live with shipping. Both of those units can be found on Amazon. If you're searching for them, I'm not going to do links or anything this time, but if you are searching, just search for Android Mini PC Quad Core and you'll find it. Of course, the keyboard, like I said, is a Hospel H7. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I tried to keep it as brief as possible and show off the RK3188. This is an impressive little card. Anyone wanting to make an Android platform smart TV, this is the way to go. All right, y'all. Deuces. One love.